Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to 202 Creates Masterclass. I'm DyRec.
And I'm Anthony Commodore, and again, welcome to 202 Creates Masterclass. But before we get into the questions, I'm going to read the bio of my good friend DyRec Butler. Born in Washington, D.C., DyRec Butler began his passion for filmmaking in 1993. It was during this time DyRec picked up his first camera and started honing his craft for film production. DyRec directed and served as a director of photography for a variety of award-winning film productions, with his most recent drama-inspired multi-award-winning short film as director of photography for His Secret, which is currently streaming on Roku. DyRec also received an award from HBO for Blade Existence, a fan-based Marvel short film that is currently streaming on YouTube. A graduate of Boise State University, DyRec received his bachelor in broadcast communications. DyRec is also, if you don't know, also the founding father of Rec Focus, a Black-owned television and film production company in Washington, D.C., dedicated to producing quality original films and providing clients the opportunity to bring their untold stories to life. Rec Focus has a cachet of writers, cinematographers, editors, colorists, and sound engineers. DyRec serves as director of photography, director, editor, and writer. He brings creativity and new world visual concepts that will keep the company on par with major studio houses to date. DyRec also is a camera operator for Bravo TV's Real Housewives of Potomac, and also served as a camera operator for OWN's Ready for Love.
Wow, Anthony, you make it seem like I did a lot. I don't even remember half of those things, man.
Absolutely.
Hey, well, look, let me let y'all know about Anthony Commodore. So Anthony is a native Washingtonian, beginning his career in the filming industry in the late 2007 as a stage play actor. Yep, Anthony was an actor. Commodore opened his second film production company named Commodore Independent Filmworks, which is also CIF, in 2017, which replaced the long-standing Malacom Productions. In the short existence of CIF, Commodore has already created and produced 3 amazing film projects: Undeniable, the Trey Chaney Story, which won several awards in the film festival circuits such as Best Documentary, Best Sound, Best Editor, and Best Actor, and is currently streaming successfully on Tubi. King's Son, the dramatic Middle Eastern mob series, pilot episode filmed, and Uproar, the comedy series, 3 episodes filmed. Commodore served as the Washington, D.C. camera operator for the documentary Finding Kendrick Johnson, which is currently streaming on Starz. Commodore didn't stop there, as he also added more projects to his repertoire, with log lines, synopsis, treatments, and scripts to projects such as The Other Foot, A Cougar's Heart, The Peculiar Life of S.L. Reeves, Ph.D., A Scrone Christmas Carol, 3 Christmases, Principal Agent, Her Defense, which won 2 screenplays competition awards, Bit Sisters, Mother-in-Law. He also created the very first African-American female lead anime series, Hidden Hero. And last but not least, Mercy Road, a faith-based drama series in which his team just completed filming the pilot episode, which is now in post-production phases.
I'll tell you what, let's do this. Okay, let's do this, because this is what everyone's waiting for. Let's get through some of these questions. All right. Mm-hmm. So the first question for you is, DyRec, how did you get started?
Oh man, I started as a teenager. I picked up my first VHS Panasonic camera, those old big block tapes. And I just wanted to shoot music videos for my hip hop group I used to have in middle school. Yep, I started in middle school. How did you get started, Anthony?
Well, I got started, believe it or not, I got started as a saxophonist. And I remember every year I used to go to Duke Ellington to play in Washington, D.C., the historic Duke Ellington School for the Arts in D.C., to play at the solo ensembles. And at the age of 16, I recorded my first album. But from there, I decided to go into film in the late 2000s. And once I started there was no stopping. I just kept going, and here, this is where we are now.
Wow, that's great, man. That's great.
Yes. So let me ask you a question, DyRec. What makes DC a great city for this industry?
To me, DC holds a hidden treasure of multi-talent individuals.
Yes.
A lot of outlets are available, but it's up to the individual to find it. If people are serious about the craft, the outlets will find you, actually. And DC is a great city for the industry because of all the productions that are always shooting in DC out of Hollywood, Atlanta, Canada, and so forth, using a lot of the landmarks and monuments that we have to offer in the city. So, I mean, also, DC provides great outlets. I mean, look at what we're doing now, 202 Creates. Without
Yes.
them, we wouldn't even have our time to shine.
This is our platform, 202 Creates, and we have to give it up to DC, an amazing city.
What are the many roles and hats, that you wear, and what are the challenges and the rewards when you're doing production and shooting?
Well, the many hats I wear is one thing I had to do, director, is I had to learn the entire film industry. So basically, I had to learn everything from creating a document or creating a project, the developmental stage, all the way through the distribution stage. So the many hats I wear is I can write, I edit, I can film, I can direct, I can produce. I'm also an executive producer. So there are a lot of things, but some challenges, that does come up is when you wear too many hats and you just don't want to miss, something that is easily caught. But wearing many hats, and once you finish this project, you see the great rewards of a completed project that the audience can love and marvel and not know exactly how much it took to put in, how much effort and sweat, blood, and tears it took to go into these things. So I'm going to turn this table around and ask you the exact same question.
Man, if I had 25 heads, I think I'd be wearing 25 hats. But I do like the fact that, being on a set where I can hone in on one, per se, Mercy Road, when I directed that, I'm also a cinematographer. I can gaff, I can grip, I can do sound, but it's nice and relaxing to just be in one role and focus on that one role, because when you're doing multiple things, sometimes you can miss stuff, trying to wear all the hats. So I definitely like wearing, one hat. If I could wear the one hat, it'll probably be a toss up between director and cinematographer. So it is what it is. So speaking of Mercy Road, let's talk about Mercy Road and let them know what's going on with that, Anthony.
Well, Mercy Road was a project I created after watching some of the great faith-based drama series out there, such as Greenleaf. And it inspired me so much to create our own Washington, D.C. version of Greenleaf or Saints and Sinners. So we can have something here. And creating this project, I was able to get so many great talents to come to this project. Also, you as a director, to bring you in as a director and to film this pilot episode, which took us 4 days. It was just such an amazing thing to see. We had a great time, but we worked hard. We got this done, and we're just waiting to see the fruits of our labor. So tell me about what your experience was working on Mercy Road.
Man, I actually love directing Mercy Road. I know we, pre-production wise, we were looking on places to actually film the pilot at, and we had multiple places to choose from, and it was a last minute ordeal. Something came through, and we went to go look at this spot. And when I say dirty and dusty, this place was dirty and dusty. We put in the time and effort to get it cleaned up. Once we got it cleaned up and we lit that bad boy, and we turned it into something nice. This church actually became a character of Mercy Road, believe it or not. So I was very happy directing that and putting your vision from your writing, on a visual platform so people can see it, in the city. So it definitely was a pleasant thing working with you, man. That was Mercy Road is definitely going to be a series to watch out for.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So speaking of series to watch out for or things to watch out for, tell us about Finding Kendra Johnson, which is currently airing on Stars. That's been on Stars for a while, Anthony, has it?
Yes, and it's still on Stars. It was a great production. It was a great project to shoot, and it's also a nonfiction. It's a real life story, and it was a challenge filming it because you had to remove your emotions from what happened in this particular project, where a young man was unfortunately murdered. But it was a great filming session. We successfully finished. And it's been on Stars. It was on a few networks. Now it's on Stars. It was just a great project to be a part of, and you'll see it yourself if you go and watch it on Stars. It was just a good project, and I still feel, and I keep the family, Mr. Johnson, in my prayers, and I'm just fortunate enough to be able to share and take a part of filming his story.
Nice.
Yeah. So now let me ask you, who and what are your inspirations or influencers?
Man, I got a little bit more than who, as far as who influenced me to do what I do. Of course, it starts with Spike Lee, first and foremost, and then a newbie that's around my age range on the block, Ryan Coogler. This dude is making a lot of good moves in the industry, young, and he's just a good look right now with what he has going on. And believe it or not, Zack Snyder and Michael Bay. The reason I say those two, because I'm an action-oriented person, and I'm a person that likes to think outside of the box when putting things together. So those two definitely inspire me because they don't care what the industry thinks. They go above and beyond to shoot the craziest things, and it just works. But as far as inspiration, I kind of want to say myself, because I try to be better than myself for the next project. So that pushes me to do more than what I did on the last project. So I always try to strive to be better than what I did yesterday. So I think that will suffice. Speaking of that, production and stuff, how do you go about finding talent?
I find talent on some of the talent sites in the Washington area. Washington, D.C. have a plethora of talented individuals that are waiting for opportunities, and to tap into these great talents to bring up as a part of your project, just like Mercy Road, we were able to get so many great talents from different sites that the city has to offer, and we have some. We didn't have to go out of town, to LA or Atlanta. We just kept it here in Washington D.C., where we brought together a group of good people from cast and crew from our Washington D.C. area, and says, all right, this is how it's going to be, and this is what it's going to be, and that's why we were able to successfully film this project, along with some of the other projects that I have filmed previous to to this. Now, my question to you is, Sir DyRec, how do you choose your topics? I know that can be something that's totally out there, but how do you choose your topics?
Oh man, when doing personal projects, I like to, like I said, go outside the box. We have the Christmas movies, we have the violent type films, and we have some of the action type films, and we have the love stories. So what if we could mend all that stuff together in a brand new genre and give people something new and fresh to look at? A lot of people are scared to do things like that because they're not used to the norm. So I try to go outside of the norm and create something new with a nice look and a feel, and give people a new ideal to something that they can watch visually and try to get into. Because all it takes is that one thing, and you set a trend, and everybody will start doing it. And if they don't like it, then they just don't like it. But it's out there. It was done. And if somebody tried to come afterwards, they can probably always reference it and see that somebody did try to do something that was sort of out there, not like the norm. So that's pretty much how I would choose my topics. What's your favorite project to date that you've done?
My favorite project to date I would say Mercy Road, because I've learned so much from the projects that I have done previously, which were all good projects. But to learn and to not make some of the mistakes that we made previously and bring into this project, you can see the further we go with each project, there's a different level of professionalism or talent or experience that we have with these projects. So Mercy Road, I would say, would be my best project to date, because we really, really put it in. We put a whole lot into this, from from pre-production, even development of stage to pre-production. We had so much fun with pre-production, the rehearsals, the site visit. As you mentioned, we had to clean that church. All the way in through production, we had 4 straight days of filming. So, and just the story, that's the actual story itself of this faith-based drama series. So I will say that will be my favorite project. What about yours? What is your favorite project today?
I will also have to say Mercy Road. The reason why is because the feel of the project, being that it's a church-based project, the way that we made it look and feel, viewers will know that it's a church-based project, but the tone that we set with it, it could also bring viewers that, may not be into church-based shows into it, because it just has a feel about it and a look. And the story is good. The story, the first episode will draw people in regardless. So I would have to say Mercy Road is my favorite project to date right now.
Okay, awesome. Well, I appreciate it, and I appreciate you for being a part of it. And we just had fun.
Yeah.
We did what we were supposed to do. We went out. We rehearsed. We filmed. It's just a fun project to be a part of overall. And
yeah, it was.
And I'm gonna say the actors, great talent, great talent, and it was really good.
Yeah, definitely was. So, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you feel new filmmakers make?
Well, let me just preface by saying we all as filmmakers make mistakes, but some of the obvious mistake that new filmmakers make, and it can be easily correctable, is giving up on your vision. It has nothing to do with camera or writing, because again, once we all start, we're just jumping out there. But you don't give up. You have to stay with your vision, regardless of what comes your way or what obstacles that you have to face. You have to stick with it. And a lot of young filmmakers see those experienced filmmakers succeeding, and sometimes they feel, well, I can't get to this level, so I'm just going to go ahead and just let it go. And then we start kind of making excuses as young filmmakers. We make excuses to not continue what we're doing based on what we're seeing out there. And just the only mistakes that I see young filmmakers making is just their ability not to finish out their project or continue with their vision.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yes. So what advice would you give to aspiring filmmakers and actors?
Some of the advice that I would give to aspiring filmmakers and actors is, especially with the filmmakers, if you don't tell your story, no one else will. You want to go out there and you want to shoot everything, shoot anything. If you walk in the street, just shoot. Try your best to shoot everything you can shoot, because you are the person that's telling your story. Nobody else is going to be able to tell the story that you would like to tell. And if every person can hold a camera, but they'll take a different picture with it. Everybody's vision will be totally different. And as far as actors, never give up on your total creative freedom. Learn as much as possible. Be able to take criticism, because it'll only help you. Don't ever think that, if somebody criticizes you because of the way that you spoke a part, or you did a casting or whatever, that you didn't look right or you didn't say the part right. Just work on it. Get what they given back to you, put it in your toolbox, and bring it out the next time, or bring it out again. So just keep pushing, don't stop, and make sure that you invest in yourself. If this is what you want to do, invest in yourself. I can't stress that enough. Just try to invest in yourself and keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing, and you'll get to where you need to get to.
Can you elaborate a little more on kind of bringing the Hollywood feel to the Washington, D.C.?
I just feel like DC holds, like I said earlier, a lot of hidden gems. We're very multi-talented. We have, actors, actresses. We have singers. We have a lot of R&B artists that came out of Washington D.C. And comedians. We're like the city that birthed a lot of the stars that people watch on television now. And they are the ones that went to Hollywood and they got on these gigs. But guess what? What if we could bring all those people back home, plus the people that we have here that have yet to emerge from having access to go to Hollywood or audition in Atlanta or Canada or what have you for TV shows and stuff? What if we can bring that whole network into DC, which we have the capability to do it? We just need to come together with all the talent that we have here, and we could really own our own production home right here in the city, in Washington, D.C. We have the space, we have the people, we have the opportunity, we have the connections. We just have to do it. We just got to start, try to thinking about working together and get this thing done. We could put out so many things, from music to television to major film releases. I mean, people come to Washington, D.C. to film the big budget movies that you're watching on the big screen. So why can't the people at home just take it to the big screen? We can do this, y'all. So I believe that we really can bring the Hollywood here in our own city, Chocolate City, Washington, D.C., and make things happen. What about you, Anthony?
Well, the good thing about Washington, D.C. is if you remember when I filmed Uproar, I filmed it in Washington, D.C. on Florida Avenue, and we kept the same name, just like Cheers did in Boston. We kept the exact same name of the name of the bar in Uproar. So we filmed the 3 comedy series, the 3 episodes of the comedy series in that specific place. And it was just amazing how the community comes together to support what you're doing. Everyone is walking by and say, "Hey, what are y'all doing here? You filming something else?" And it's just so proud to talk to some of the citizens and the stakeholders and the community members and the A&C commissioners to let them know exactly what you're doing in DC. And as you see, I'm kind of getting pumped up because I'm just flashing back to our times on the set of Uproar. And you had just people in the city just offering to do so much, to volunteer, to be a part of what you're doing because you're filming in DC. And it's just something special about Washington, DC, when you come in to film a project or to do anything. You just have a great deal of support from the city itself and its community. And it's just an amazing thing to be a part of. And again, like I said earlier, you just have so much wonderful talent, wonderful people in DC. And I was just more than honored and privileged and blessed to have been filmed on Florida Avenue with my comedy series.
Yeah, and speaking of volunteers, I know, I probably speak for you as well. Our companies, we're always looking for, interns. We offering internships, and we're also looking for personnel. So if you're out there and you do sound, you do grip, you do gaffing, you're editor, sound technician, cinematographer, get at us. We are here. We're here in Washington, DC based businesses, and we're looking for the help. The more the merrier. And like I said, the more that we can grow and work together, like myself and Anthony, even though we're different companies, we do things together. And it's nothing wrong with that. We're not trying to be better than the next person that's out there creating as well. We have a lot of creatives in Washington, D.C. And I would love for the day that all of us could get together, because that's so much more resources, so much more equipment on production, so much more people that know people that know people. Where, like I said, we can really bring Hollywood to D.C. D.C. can be its own brand new Hollywood, and we have it. We just got to, get together and make things happen,
Well, let me ask you a question. And then, like I said, we're getting pumped up with, talking about, all the opportunities we want to give our members in DC. But let's share a little bit about what kind of equipment do you use, and how do you keep up with the trend of equipment that constantly comes out from, let's say you started filming in 2007 versus filming today? How does equipment change throughout that time, and what do you do to stay on top of it?
So currently, I'm utilizing the Red ecosystem, the Red Cinema gear, shooting on 6K. Currently have a Red Dragon, Red Monstro, and a Red Komodo. And in the past, I started off with a Canon, and it's nothing wrong with any type of equipment, that you use. As long as you're out there and you're visually creating, you can get things done. But I started off with a Canon from Best Buy, went to Best Buy and bought my first camera. And, I start rigging it out, to look like a production camera. And over time, because of the projects that I start working on, I started to realize, hey, I need a light. This regular light in the house just isn't working. It's dark in this area. It's flat in this area. I need to go get a light. So I hopped on the internet and I researched and got what my money could buy at the time, because, I wasn't making a lot of money, and I got a light. And so with that light, I learned how to use that light, how to shape people's faces, or shape or color the background to give them a certain look of what I was trying to achieve with that one light. And over time, with multiple productions ahead, certain productions called for certain things. So I had to make some money, made some money, and I went to go get those items that I needed, not items that I wanted. There's a difference. You got to get what you need to do the job. So I started researching on specific items or equipment that I needed to do the job. And as the time went on, technology changed. So I was like, okay, I'm shooting with this Canon that only, produces 1080p. Well, wow, 2K and 4K is out now. The picture is so clear. So I had to upgrade. So I wanted to stay in the Canon area. So I went and got a Canon C200. And to me, that was like my first big cinema camera. So I was shooting with that for a while. And like I said, start rigging that out. I bought some more lights because I found out, reading books, going to the library, searching on the internet, and watching a lot of behind the scenes from movies. That's the first thing I like to do when new movies come out, is watch behind the scenes. So after doing that, I started seeing what people were using behind the scene. I was like, oh, I want this, I want that, I want that. But it was too expensive. I couldn't afford it. So I tried to find a lower budget item where I could kind of create what they had behind the scenes to make my productions kind of look like their productions. And with that said, more cameras came out, new technology came out, dynamic range of cameras came out, lenses came out, and I was like overwhelmed. So I was like, okay, I got to keep up. I got to do what they're doing in the movies. I got to have this look. I got to have this feel when I do my productions. So I went and got a Blackmagic Ursa Mini, and also bought a Blackmagic Pocket 4K. So once I bought that, man, the dynamic range, the visuals start popping. I was like, geez, yeah, I'm in it. Start getting some more lights. Got a little fancy with the productions. Everything's looking a little better. And I was like, okay, I'm moving. But with those productions, more money started to come in. I started to get more jobs because, believe it or not, some people, they know about the equipment, but they don't know about equipment. You get a lot of clientele that say, hey, are you shooting on a Sony FX9? Or do you have a Red? And I'm like, no, I have a Blackmagic. Oh, yeah, we don't want you. We want somebody that has a Sony. But they don't know anything about the Sony, or they don't know anything about the Red. They just heard the name and they saw, this people shooting with. So over time, I was like, okay, if I got to get serious in the business, I think it's time to step up with the big boys. And so I took my equipment together and traded it all in and started to build and got into the Red ecosystem. And from there, it's just been game on. And now I'm on the level where I can compete with the production houses that push out movies on your Netflix, your Amazon Primes, and your Tubies, and even in the theaters in Hollywood, because that's the stuff that they're using to film, their productions on. So it's been a journey, man. This took years to equivocate and years to get to. This did not happen overnight. It took a lot of time to get this stuff, but it's finally here, and I have what I need, and it's just to the top from there. So Anthony, what's next? What you got coming up?
now that we are in the post-production phases for Mercy Road, I have a few more projects. I can tell you this thing. Once you start creating, you cannot stop. And even while we were filming Mercy Road, I was creating other projects. I was creating more because I wanted more content. And because I can write and put together content, I love, just like you said earlier, I love a variety of projects, or creating a variety of projects, whether it's comedy, whether it's horror, whether it's drama, whether it's suspense thriller, whether it's just anything I can create. So what I'm creating now is a suspense thriller called The Work of a Narcissist. I also have my anime that I have to, refocus on. We have a filming project that we have to do before the year is out called Deathbed. I just had meetings with, about that. But what I'm continuing to do is continue to create new projects, and just to piggyback on something that you said earlier about the equipment, just like you can see the red right behind me. I remember, and I have to, once again, I have to give a shout out to DC, because I'm telling you, I love DC. That's my city. I remember back in 2008, I had $5,000. I wanted to get into the film industry. I had $5,000, and I thought that I could take that $5,000 and buy all these cameras, these lights, the sound equipment. But I went to Penn Camera on E Street. I went there. I was so happy, and I said, I want a camera. And the guy says, we have a camera just for you. It was a Nikon D300S. And after I purchased that camera and that one lens, which was a 24-70, my $5,000 were gone. I'm like, I need lights. He said, well, that's not my problem. But I remember I went into my first film with one camera, one light, one microphone, and it was the basics, like the absolute basics. But I filmed it as a young filmmaker. That was my first major project, which was a feature. And it took us 3 months. And that once that I said, hey, you know what, I'm going to give up. Although it was so easy, because now I'm working around everybody's schedules. I don't have money to pay people. I could just buy like some food, some snacks, potato chips, water, or whatever. But once you get that support from your people that, hey, we are with you, regardless, we want to see this project succeed. And once we finished that, I was able to save a little more money to constantly upgrade our equipment. So now we have the abilities between you and I to film from 1080p to 2K to 4K to 6K to 8K. And the reason why we have to keep up with the latest equipment is not just the equipment, it's what's required from some of these network services like your Netflix, your Hulu. You have to have a certain, they will give you go to Netflix, they will tell you, it's nothing secretive, they will tell you exactly what cameras what cameras or what specs that we only accept. So I can no longer take my Sony that I purchased in 2012 and create a project and says, all right, I'm going to send it to a network. I can no longer do that. So that's another reason why we have to upgrade, but we upgrade based on what streaming services or networks want. So that's how we do it.
Yeah. So look, if you guys out there are interested in becoming part of, the production, hey, if you want to intern, you can either go to www.recfocus.com or Anthony.
If you want to intern with our company, you can go to info@independentfilmworks.net. We love to bring in interns. We had interns for Mercy Road, in which they got a great deal of experience, and we are taking them on other projects with us. So that's so important to have interns. And we, my social media handle is Anthony Commodore on Facebook, Anthony Commodore on Instagram, Anthony Commodore on LinkedIn. So you can find me. So my name doesn't change on a social media site. DyRec?
Same here. If you want to follow us at Rec Focus, it's at Rec Focus, at Rec Focus on Twitter, at Rec Focus on YouTube, at Rec Focus on Instagram, and Rec Focus on Facebook as well. So we just want to thank you guys. And my name is DyRec. So be sure you guys check us out Hey, I was glad to sit here with my man Anthony. We got a lot of upcoming things coming. You want to be a part? We gave you the information. I mean, it's just going to go up from here.
Yes, and again, my name is Anthony Commodore Independent Filmworks. Thank you all so much. Thank you, 202 Creates. And please share, follow, reach out to us. You know, we're definitely open. And we're approachable, and we want to continue giving opportunities while at the same time producing quality content for our audience worldwide.
Yes, and thank you, Mayor Bowser, once again for creating this platform. This is the excellent platform for a lot of creators and creative people to put themselves out there so others can know what's going on in Washington, D.C., the best city and with the best people. So that's how we just going to keep it on 202 Creates.
Absolutely. Thank you.